Today on Mormon Times, a valiant missionary effort involving two young boys.
The way I look at it is that this is how Heavenly Father called Dayton to be on a mission.
How the popular Mormon message, Dayton's Legs, helped convert an entire family. And a simple way to discover your unlikely family connections.
So there's me, I'm 29 degrees to Barack Obama.
A record that's only a mouse click away. Plus, a moment for rejoicing. Recognizing the tender mercies of the Lord in everyday life. Good morning and welcome to Mormon Times. Earlier this month, KSL Television produced a general conference special called Reach Out and Share. It tells the story of how a family in Arizona joined the church after watching a youth Mormon message on the internet called Dayton's Legs. Well, a year after that video's release, it continues to touch lives. For the young men featured in Dayton's Legs and their families, seeing the missionary work that has resulted has been life-changing.
For your gracious care and service towards your fellow man by sharing your strength, ability, and unselfish attitude, I, John Lewis, Mayor of the town of Gilbert, wish to give you this award.
Honors that I've received because of what I've done for Dayton is I got the Citizen of the Month in Gilbert. I was able to travel up to Washington, D.C. and get the Spirit of America Award.
I wish you could have been there. It was really awesome.
I was with a bunch of war veterans that had received the Medal of Honor, and they say that they're not the ones that technically received it, they're just receiving for the men in the war that don't get to come home, and that's kind of like how I feel.
How you doing, Spence? Awesome. You rock. All right, Dayton, way to go, buddy, way to go.
When they first did the triathlon, it was just something fun. There was no intention or anything for anybody else to know about it other than friends and family, because it's an inspiring story.
We had a fireside down in Queen Creek, Arizona that I spoke at, and at that fireside I heard about Spencer, and it was shared to me privately what Spencer had done, and we were so impressed that we decided this story needed to be shared with the world.
And I didn't expect anybody to see it and be like, whoa, that's really cool.
People did see it. Since its release in 2011, Dayton's Legs has been viewed hundreds of thousands of times all over the world. Tracy Stites was one of the many who watched the video. The spirit of the message touched her so deeply that she committed to baptism in her first missionary lesson after viewing Dayton's Legs.
From that day forward, it was a matter of how fast could this happen.
In a matter of months, Tracy, her son Austin, her daughter Alyssa, and her son Max were all baptized.
If someone had ever described what we have been through to me and said that this all would happen to me or that I would even feel this way, I would have said, there's absolutely no way. Both Spencer and Dayton are my real life missionaries.
The best thing that's come out of this whole video thing is probably the lives it has touched and Tracy Stites' baptism and all the people that have seen it and think, wow, that's a really cool thing, and then they go out and they try and do something good.
It's been said multiple times before that Dayton's never going to put on a name tag. He's not going to open up a mission call. But I guess now looking at this entire process, he doesn't need to.
I was asked to speak at a fireside by President Ellsworth in Mesa, Arizona. After it was done, I was just flooded with people that said to me how much I had helped them telling my story. And my story renewed a spirit in people that even were in the church. It was such a blessing to be able to see the gift of missionary work and what it really does, that is why I did this story.
Getting awards and going to D.C. was cool and everything, but it doesn't come near as close to other people's lives being touched in baptism and stuff. It just is nowhere near it.
Well, Spencer Zimmerman and Dayton Hayward, great examples of youth doing good and catching the spirit of missionary work. Shireen Hayward is Dayton's mom. She's joining us now from Gilbert, Arizona via Skype. Glad to have you here, Shireen. And just wanted to ask you, what is it like seeing the impact that Dayton and Spencer's story has had, not just in Arizona, but all around the world?
It's amazing. It's amazing. I've gotten phone calls, emails, text messages from people that I've never met before telling me thank you for the example of Dayton and Spencer. Just it doesn't just teach people to serve others. I guess it teaches many families that if they have a child with disabilities, their child can do so much more than maybe many people think.
What does Dayton himself think about all of this from the triathlon, all the resulting attention that he's gotten?
You know, Dayton and Spencer are similar in the fact that I don't think they like all the attention, but I don't think they realize the impact that it's made on so many different people. Dayton is not, he's not prideful in any way, and I think it makes him happy just to see other people happy. I think he's truly, genuinely happy about something he's doing.
I understand that Dayton got a special blessing a few years ago about his mission on Earth. What could you share a little bit of that with us, that sacred experience?
Yeah, that was a very, very spiritual time for me and for my family. He was very sick. Dayton is a very healthy child, and it's the first time and the only time he's ever been very sick. He had pneumonia, and he was going to either live or die. It was over Memorial Day weekend, and it was very close to losing him. And he got a priesthood blessing. He received several, but the one right that night that he got was that his time on Earth wasn't yet finished, that he had not accomplished all that he needed to do. And I knew it wasn't time for Heavenly Father to take him, although it looked like it was time for him to go. And the blessing comforted me, and I knew something in the future was for him. I just didn't know what it was. I had no idea it would be this. I was working on something else in his life at the time for full inclusion in schools, and I thought maybe that was what his purpose was, but this is far better than that. This is inclusion in life, in everything, not just in the schools. And it was amazing to see what's happened since that blessing. The triathlon happened just a year later than the blessing, so it's just very cool to look in hindsight what that blessing meant. And I still don't think his time on Earth is done. You know, he has much more to accomplish.
Much more to do, and I'm sure your family has seen many tender mercies as well by sharing Dayton's story. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not Shireen anymore. I am known as Dayton's mom. Pretty much everywhere I go, I love it because I am proud to be Dayton's mom. And tender mercies everywhere. Dayton's had the opportunity to do things that other 15-year-old boys can't do, especially not 15-year-old boys in wheelchairs. And my daughters have learned to serve, to be patient.
I bet.
It's yeah, very cool.
A wonderful story all the way around. What a wonderful boy. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Shireen. And to watch the KSL special Reach Out and Share featuring Dayton and Spencer, just go to the link at our website. That's mormontimestv.ksl.com. Still to come, a Facebook interface for genealogy junkies. It's an easy way to track your family connections. And relying on faith, hope, and prayer to pull you through, experiencing the peace that only God can provide. Thousands of hours of service were offered this weekend as women gathered on the Brigham Young University campus for the annual Women's Conference. The service projects are always a highlight of this two-day event, and this year was no different. The service element became a part of Women's Conference in 1999, and the enthusiasm for it continues to grow. This year, sisters were able to take part in a wide variety of projects that will benefit thousands of people in many communities. Well, have you ever wondered if you are related to anyone famous? Well, now with just a click of the mouse, you can find out. A new Facebook interface called Kin2 will show you some of your interesting family connections. Brooke Walker shares this story.
We are family.
We're all related to each other. We just don't know how.
A new Facebook interface called Kin2 is changing the way people view genealogy.
Kin2 is a way for young people, other people who don't naturally think of family history as a hobby, to get excited about family history.
The application allows you to discover family connections with some unlikely faces.
So it starts with celebrities. You can see how different celebrities are related to each other, how many degrees apart they are. So this is our connection finder wall. So you can drag any two faces in here. One of the fun ones we've done is we've done Barack Obama to Rush Limbaugh, and we've clicked go. And it shows you that Barack Obama and Rush Limbaugh are actually 26 degrees apart.
Then it's your turn. Users can drag themselves in to see how they are related to celebrities, historical figures, and even Facebook friends.
So these are all my Facebook friends in one place. And here's one guy that I'm a friend with on Facebook. I can see I'm 16 degrees from my boss.
It takes a little work to enter your family history information, but once you're connected to the system, you can instantly discover your family relationships.
There's an algorithm that was developed by our founder that matches them not just by name and date, but also by their relationships.
And as more people in your circle become connected, your family record grows.
Kin2 just makes finding your family connections fun and accessible and really cool.
For Mormon Times, I'm Brooke Walker.
Thanks, Brooke. And for more information on this new family search tool, go to kin2.me. It's easier than ever to do family history research. Up next, we've got more ideas on how you can connect with your living relatives online. With a little creativity, you can turn your family history search into a chance to connect with cousins and other relatives that you've never met. Professional genealogist Krista Cohen is here to share ideas on how to find your extended family. Glad to have you back with us.
Thanks.
And today, family history research is more than searching for people who have passed away. You can actually connect with your family that's alive. How do you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people think of ancestry as parents and parents and parents. Pick an ancestor and start tracing their children and children and children. You'll get down to second and third and fourth cousins you never even knew you had.
Wow. And you've used Facebook, which is pretty amazing, to track down some relatives. How's that worked?
It's amazing. You can just search for a name, and then you look at their friends, and all of a sudden you're connecting with cousins and aunts and uncles that you've lost touch with years ago right there on Facebook.
That's really neat. Well, you've got a lot of ways to use Facebook to, what you say, unite families, pull them together. So let's talk about some of them. You've got virtual family reunions.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird idea. Like, families now don't have time to come together every summer, right?
So get on the computer, right?
One of the things my mom's done is every time one of her cousins has a birthday, cousins she hasn't seen in decades, she'll post a picture of them as little kids. And then all of a sudden, people are commenting and telling stories, and their children and their grandchildren are getting involved and seeing those memories come out in real time.
Well, that's wonderful. What about Facebook memorials?
So I've created some memorial pages for some of my ancestors, and we're starting to see more and more people do this. You just create a page for a historical figure, pick one of your great-great-great-grandparents, and then all of a sudden start inviting cousins with it. That way you don't have to friend them on Facebook if you don't want to, but they can still connect through that page.
Well, that's a great idea. Now, there are a couple of, you say, they're pioneer-type ancestry sites?
That's who I chose, yeah.
Okay.
I chose two of my pioneer ancestors, Cornelius Lott and Samuel Moliner, and I created Facebook pages for them. And on there, we share things about, like, on this day in our family history, or we share pictures or stories about their missionary experiences or their pioneer travels, stories that some of this younger generation has never heard.
That's fun. And what about the Moliner Facebook site? Is that the same?
It's the same concept.
So it's both of those, you can do it either way?
Yep.
Okay. Now, what about sharing family history research? Is there a good way to do that?
Yeah, so I work for Ancestry.com, and on Ancestry.com, anybody can build a tree. You don't have to pay to do that. You can build a tree, and then you can share that tree with anybody in your family, and they don't have to have a subscription either. So really great way to just even give them a view into the research you've already collected.
Now, you mentioned you use Dropbox. I'm not real familiar with that, although I've heard about it. And that's how you make this all happen.
Well, so Dropbox is just a way to another way to share those files. You can store it in Dropbox, and then anybody you give access to can take a look at it from there.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, so many good ideas, and you're all obviously excited about it. You've had so much success, so you're kind of infectious. Maybe we can get home and try some of these ideas.
Good.
So thanks so much, Krista. We'll have more information on how you can connect to living cousins on our website at mormontimestv.ksl.com. Well, reunions are a great time to keep mission friendships going, and there's one group that's been getting together for some 60 years now.
Well, jag kunde säga hur står det till.
They still speak Swedish.
When I got my second companion, he didn't know a word. And did I have to learn Swedish?
And they still talk about the beautiful land and people forever etched in their minds.
Beautiful. A lot of water, pine trees. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Sweden's a great country, a clean country, very hospitable people.
But it's the mission friendships that make these reunions all worth it.
But we greet each other, we talk about some of the things that we did over there, and it's just basically a fun time to get together.
Magnificent friendships. That's what brings me here every time.
And don't forget about the tasty Swedish food.
It's always fun to come to eat. You know, we're still young guys.
Robert is the one who keeps track of everybody. He says he has over 233 missionaries in his database. We'll be right back with more on Mormon Times, but first, each week we love to highlight our missionaries serving in the field by sharing a picture or a letter. This week our missionary is Sister Chang, serving in the Ukraine.
This week was good. President encouraged us to walk around our church building to try and invite people to come in for a tour. I got Sister Kozlova to write up 2 signs with the questions, how do we talk with God and what happens after death? We walked around the neighborhood with them and it was a lot of fun. Everyone saw us, they read our name tag, they knew we were missionaries. They talked with us, argued with us, made fun of us, and even prayed with us. It was fun because I was actually interacting with the people.
We love hearing from our missionaries, and if you have a letter and pictures that you'd like to share with us, send them to Mormon Times TV at ksl.com. A 9-year-old Utah County boy is making amazing progress after a life-threatening accident at a park playground. And while it's been a roller coaster of emotions for his family, they are counting their blessings. KSL News Specialist Carol Makita has the heartwarming story.
The laughter is music to his mother's ears. For Chase Macon, who is 9, physical therapy comes with a bonus swing. How high can he go and how dizzy can he get and still be able to walk?
Oh, you did it! That was even faster than last time.
Yes, I said walk. When we met Chase several months ago, he was barely moving. He often played at this Orem Park near his home. On January 15th, he wanted one quick run on the slide, but Chase fell 15 feet from the top, hitting his head. He was flown to Primary Children's Medical Center with traumatic brain injury. His parents had just come home from an anniversary trip.
You see your child there lifeless with machines sticking all out of him. Words can't describe.
We're just thrilled he's alive. I know that the first 36 hours were absolute torture because you don't know, but we feel very blessed.
Chase spent 5 days on life support, and then his mother described the scene on the family's blog. His breathing tube came out successfully and he cried. The nurse said that was great because he put it together that it was painful.
I heard his voice, it was, you could just hear his life.
And the next day, he has begun storming, which is a phase of recovery where your brain is trying to reconnect with all systems. Chase stretched with the help of a physical therapist, and that day began breathing on his own for the first time in 2 weeks. But he could not speak yet. 2 blinks for no, 1 blink for yes. But that's in the past.
I can run, I can walk, oh, I can eat.
He does not remember the accident, but he does remember his first words afterwards.
First I said my mom's name.
I was nervous, I'm not gonna lie. Will I ever hear my son's voice? His first word was mom, which was exciting for me because his first initial word when he was a baby was dad. So he kind of has 2 first words.
He doesn't find anything hard to do now, and he's ready to step back into sports.
Basketball, football, swimming.
He has returned to school. Even his doctors were not sure how far his recovery would go.
He's a miracle, I mean, and they definitely agreed in the sense that he definitely his hard work, as well as I think, God.
Chase knows many people prayed for his recovery and still do. His words come with joy.
Thank you. That's it.
For Mormon Times, this is Carol Makita.
Sometimes hope, faith, and prayer are your only solace when coping with the illness or the injury of a loved one. Jen Macon knows this all too well. Chase's mom, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And we're so glad he's doing so well, but how was it that you were able to cope with the difficulty of this?
You know, I really feel like that it was the prayers of others that really carried us through. His hospital room was a really, really special place. It was kind of our little sanctuary away from all the other noise of the cluttering of, you know, the noise in the hospital, and it really was a peaceful place as he recovered. I mean, he was literally comatose and his body wasn't doing anything. And so he really had to relearn everything that you take for granted as a mother or a parent, you know, drinking out of a straw, walking down the street, smiling.
The simple things.
The simple things.
Yeah. Well, that must have been a very helpless feeling. Moms want to fix everything, you know, and just to have to stand back there and watch. I mean, what was that like?
I felt very powerless. Yeah. I felt, you know, I had my birthday while he was in the PICU. It was day 3 of his coma. And I told all my friends and family, all I want today is prayers. I just want prayers that my baby will wake up. And as he recovered, I held on to that. And, you know, when you're in a situation like that, that's all that you really want, is just the comfort from friends and family. And I had friends and family come out in droves. I had people from all over the world reaching out and sending me things, texting me, Facebooking, all those great ways of technology. I couldn't even talk to family for the first couple weeks. It was so traumatic. So I texted and blogged, and that was kind of my
therapy.
Mm-hmm.
How has the experience sort of changed your perspective on how you view life?
I'll never be the same. Yeah. I'll never be the same because this life is so precious, and I'm realizing that every single day, that every choice that we make, every second of time is just a gift, and I don't take any of those moments for granted.
Well, thank you so much. We're so glad he's doing well. He's a darling little guy. Thanks so much. Thanks for joining us today on Mormon Times TV. If you want some additional inspiration, go to facebook.com/Mormon Times TV, where we post uplifting content and conversation every day. We hope you enjoy the rest of your Sabbath day.